Now, I do want to do one more extra thing here using conditional formatting. So widgets have conditional formatting. It's easy to explore it or see it on this one. Typically, you might want to do a red, yellow, and green, let's say. Just roughly going by these values, I'm going to take 26 and the 65 as the thresholds. So once you hit on conditional formatting, and remember again, this is the video you want to watch. See the example, the walkthrough step by step. So we are going to apply it to sum of amount. That's the only metric. Now we have bins. The first bin, let's say less than 26 million. It says here 26. Okay, cool. I'll stay with this. I will add another bin for the middle tier. And let's say this is 65. And I will give it a yellow. Notice I clicked on the drop down. This is a yellow. Also, I can actually change the label. I can call this medium. And going back to the red, I'm going to hide this. Going back to the red, call it low. And the last bin, just hit the color, change it to green. And high, for example. And that's how you add conditional formatting to a widget. Again, hit save. Next, I am going to add those date toggles that we talked about in the data layer in the recipe. So one of the requirements, typically, you want to add some toggles here that you can toggle between different dates or date parts, like last year, same quarter versus current quarter, last year, and same or current year. First, I'm going to just modify the size of this a bit. I want to make sure I have enough space. And the way you want to do this is, this time actually I do want to create the step first because I want to add a filter on it. So just to be safe. So what I want to do is create the step, same data set, and call this custom quarter selection, for example. Now I don't care about the metric. I just want to provide the users, the end users, with the ability to click on something and filter by that date part. Now my group by, this is the custom quarter I have created. This is the custom quarter. It had 3 values: current quarter, last year, same quarter, and other quarters. So what I'm going to do is, users don't care about other quarters in this particular use case. So I'm going to filter again on the same field, on the custom quarter, to only include current quarter and last year, same quarter. These are the fields I need: current quarter, last year, same quarter. So I will hit done. And I will use a toggle. So drag a toggle, click on the canvas, drag custom quarter selection into the toggle, and that's how I get the current quarter, last year, same quarter. Now I am going to repeat this step. Or alternatively, as you start using the product, you will find these shortcuts, if you might say. I will clone this, rename it to custom year, and I will change the field to custom years. I do have to change this filter from custom quarter. So I will delete this, add a new filter, custom years, and select current year and last year and add. Again, same thing. I got my current year, last year. I hit done. I drag another toggle, drag custom year, Now I have my toggles. So let me hit S, save. If I go to preview, notice how my toggles are right there. Similarly to the, like I said, the static step approach, but you click on current quarter, updates, last year same quarter, last year, etc. Now notice as you start selecting these, the values are disappearing. So another thing you can do is, for example, select the toggles, go to the step, and say uncheck apply filters from faceting. This way you keep them the same values. Select the other one also and uncheck apply filters from faceting. And the last tip, so now for example, if you select current quarter, these stay, or last year same quarter, they stay. The other tip, if the users come back and say we don't want the space, well, you can always go back to the default, scroll down to cell spacing, and stake 0. Now that I have my date part toggles, we're going to keep going on and add some more charts. Next chart is simply a values table, just a simple table. So for tables, I'm going to create the step, same data set, call it details. For detailed info. And just switch to values table on the right to values table. Notice it picked up the default columns we specified under fields: the name, opportunity name, rep name, amount. We are going to add one more field, and that field is the photo. The API name was brought in, and that is the photo. I am not going to do any formatting in the step. This is the step, which by the way is similar to the lens too, from a UI perspective. I'm going to hit done. I am just going to drag the table and put it somewhere here. I am going to edit the widget properties of this table. So for example, I'm going to scroll down to spacing and say fit data to widget. Next, I'm going to themes. I can hide this again. Go to themes, select the dark theme. Next, go all the way up to column. It's selected the owner photo. I can switch this to show data as image. And this is a very powerful way to immediately bring images into or onto your dashboards using the table widgets, the values table. So whether it's individuals or product images or anything you have on the object as a URL field. I'm going to keep the number here. I'll talk about it later, but let's say I'm pretty much done with my table. Again, if I need to change the name, I'll go to fields and change owner ID.small photo to just photo, owner photo. Now notice if I double click, when I was saying this is similar to the step, however, if you click on the fields, similar to the lens, this is the step mode. So if you click on fields, you will not get the same capabilities that you get when you click on the lens. So fields, for editing fields, look, I only have copy API name here. So for fields editing, you do want to be in the lens mode, not inside the dashboard. Keep that in mind. I am also going to add an industry widget here. So just again, opportunity amount by industries. So let me create a step. Or I can do it the other way, just drag the chart. Click on chart, call it amount by industry, sum of amount, and industry. Also sorted, and hit done. Again, I'll do some titling here, amount by industry. I will do the themes, dark, widget style, background, dark, and take out the legend. Additionally, I can go to conditional formatting and apply to sum of amount, but this time I will choose the gradient. And this is how you get gradient on the charts. Hit save. And go back, let's take a look at the dashboard as it gets built together. Now, if you go to preview, one thing about charts too is you have the tooltips. And those tooltips are customizable. So for example, in this particular chart, I have sum of amount and opportunity. But if I had a chart with multiple metrics or a compare table, later on you will see feeding a chart or a widget, I have the option to show or hide some of these metrics. So if I go to edit mode, click on the widget, scroll down to tooltips, you can actually customize the tooltip to specify which dimension you want to show, which measure of many you want to show, or even add custom text, your own custom text, based on the fields from the step. Like you can literally say, this is opportunity name with amount equal sum of amount. Now you can, if you're using custom, of course, probably you want to uncheck showing all the rest because it's going to be a very big text. So now it shows this. If you choose to keep the rest, it will also keep showing those things. Also, show null values or not is an option, so keep that in mind. So again, if you go now, you have this big tooltip box. Again, these are tips. You can use them for other things, adding info on info buttons, similar to info buttons, using some sort of a chart and that tooltip editing. One more option for that widget would be also the chart markers. Now, chart markers are just visual indicators to take a look at one of the bars on this chart. So for example, you can say edit chart. Notice, like I said, I just said chart markers, edit chart markers. Select, let's say, the first one, show name, okay, show measures. I'm going to keep it simple, but I'm going to close this. Blink when closed, change the color to red, change the color to red. And you sort of have this visual indicator to, hey, take note of this. I can move my mouse, click on it, and get the message behind it. I can close it, go back to edit mode. Now that we've added or explored the chart markers and tooltips, let's take a copy of this dashboard. Now, taking a copy of this dashboard would be under this button right here that says Clone in New tab. Cloning the dashboard will take it completely in a new tab and it's pretty much copy of the dashboard. Now, for the purposes of this exercise, keep it. We want to link to it just as an exercise. And we are going to save this as copy of opportunity dashboard. Now that we have a copy, just close this. Also, copies are good if you are working on an existing dashboard. You don't want to change the existing dashboard. Take a copy of it. You can edit it and modify it and test your modifications. Going back to the original dashboard, what I want to do is add some of these KPIs or microcharts we call on top right here. So I'm going to start with a trend. Let's say I want to trend down the count of won opportunities. So for that, I am going to drag a chart. By the way, if you ever see red and you want to really put it somewhere here, just hit, as you move it, hit the shift button. It will shift the other widgets, okay? Now I have my chart here. I'm going to minimize it by 1 row, hit chart, and call this one trend. It's just count of rows, and it's by close date. Notice that the engine already created the different date parts. So if we go to close date all the way down to year, month, scroll down, and this is pretty much what we need. Count of rows, close date. Actually, one more is the filters, because we said this is the one trend, so one is true. And you hit add. Now, one visual that is available with date groups is the timeline. This is where, if you notice, this does not say the name of the month. If I hit timeline, this changes to a proper timeline. And I'm going to hit done. Now that I am on the canvas, and there is a reason, later on we will explore it in the advanced chapters, why we prefer to do the widget changes on the dashboard. After we're done with the step, we come back here. I'm not going to give it a title. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to x-axis, take out the close date, take out the title, go to y-axis, uncheck everything. I just want it as a micro trend, micro chart. So there you go. Additionally, for timeline, notice under x-axis we have not only reference line but also predictive line. If I click on predictive line, it takes today, it knows what's today. And in this case, just because my data is stale, if you notice this 2018, let's put something, let's move it a little bit back. So if you don't see the line, that means your day is out of range. So maybe we can take it back 2018 slash maybe 9 or less, let's say 7. Again, this is just for demo perspective. What happens now is, I know this says predictive, but this is more of a projected. So of course your data didn't just have all of a sudden has a predictive value or values. What's happening is we are projecting to close. There are lots of opportunities that are projected to close after 7 in August and September and so on, October. So from a visual perspective, we are saying this is the projected. So it helps guides the users if they want to take an action or explore more. It's just a visual indicator. They take note, this is the projection. All right. Time for the next chart. So we are going to add another one next to it. Also minimize it, hit chart. And this one is simply, again, just count trend. And keep it count of rows, no filter. But for charts, go to suggested charts and select the second one right here, polar gauge, and hit done. The third KPI, the third micro chart or indicator is a number. So numbers, you need to grab the number first, expand it a little, now click on the middle of it, and call this external amount. Because remember, we brought external amount into this data set, and that is very valuable. So change count of rows to sum of external invoiced amount. There's no grouping, just the total amount, and hit done. I am going to do a little editing here. So we can keep the title, let's say external amount for simplicity. And we can shorten the number. Also, we can change the conditional formatting just to show you it applies also to numbers. So we can add a rule and say, for example, just to show you this, I'm going to add a billion if it's less than a billion. So 9 zeros. I am going to put it into, or as red, sorry, not back. So you can change the background, but I think in this case it's better the text. Keep the background no color and apply. And there you go, because it's less than a billion. So if I preview this, it looks something like this. These are trends, polar gauge and the external amount. Very important. Back to edit. So micro trends are good, like I said, indicators. Later on, you will see how we can say these could be from other data sets or other objects. But the idea is you guide the user to a trend and you want the user to continue digging into that trend or exploring more. So complementing this can be the links. And that is linking to the detailed dashboards about that particular trend. So I'm going to grab a link, put it under this chart, and let's say this is a link to detailed or to one trend dashboard, for example. In this case, it's linking to a dashboard, saved dashboard. So saved lens, dashboard lens URL, we will later on see a page, so save dashboard. And just use the copy, the one we just copied or cloned a while ago. And this is apply selections and filters. So it takes whatever you select from here, it takes the filters and puts them there on the target dashboard. If you select Butler 33, it will take it to the target dashboard and select it by Butler 33. I will change the widget style a little bit to give it that feeling of a tap on me. So change the background and change the radius to 16, for example, to get this kind of tab. Going back, I'm going to repeat the steps for here, and again the same dashboard just because of it's a more of a demo perspective. So I'm adding the link here. Let's say a link to general count dashboard, and save dashboard, apply selections, widget style, background gray, radius 16. And again, similarly, add this here. Again, link to external data dashboard, for example, and save dashboard, copy, apply, same thing, widget style, background gray, radius 16. I can actually do this a little bit like this here, and there should be alignment center. All right, so this is looking good. The trick about the links, now since we're talking about links, let me just show it to you. So some users, they do this. They bring a link and make it small, for example. Sorry, this is a container. They bring a container, and the background image of the container, you can use something like this, let's say. And you can say fit height. Now you bring a link. Need to make this smaller, all the way like this. And that link, you can say, let's say links to a saved dashboard, this copy dashboard. Now the important thing to note is the text style, sorry, the widget style. You are going to change the background color. You hit custom, and this is the trick. You gotta go all the way transparent here. Choose and change the color to white, or sorry, custom again. Again, transparent all the way. And now if you move the container like this and preview this, Notice I only see an image, but if I click on it, it's going to take me to the second dashboard. So again, the trick is to use a container with a link. Container has the back image, and the link has all the font color and the background transparent. So I'm going to go back to the exercise, delete this. So our exercise, as we added these, let's say I could select the Butler Theory 3, and I'm looking for the trend. There's no trend here. Click on this. And if I click on this, let me go check what happened there. Hold on a minute. Yep, I did not select the dashboard. That's why. Okay. So now if I hit Butler Theory 3, click on the link, it will take you, and Butler Theory 3 is already selected. And that is the option that got carried from the first dashboard. All right, I'm going to hit save. By the way, if you're viewing the dashboard and you need to refresh, you can always hit this return to initial view.